Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. We are going into week 15 of the NFL season, getting closer and closer to playoff time. Some crucial games this week, some big decisions to be made this week. And we're going to have all the picks for you there. Also, as always, as every week, some betting advice coming later in the show. If you want to make $10 on two of the easiest picks this week, stay tuned for the end. First of all, Smokey, you know my two questions, right?
Yeah, definitely. And how I'm doing is, man, I could pick a ton of teams this week. I'm better than the Patriots fans because they're realizing now that they...
I think you've said that before this year. I think you really like saying that.
Oh yeah, that's always fun, you know, always good times. But last week, our total was, I had 11, you had 10. I made up one more point on you.
Okay.
Brings the overall, overall total 136.5 to 137.5. So if I continue my trend I'm on, I'm gonna at least tie you this week.
I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I've given up points over the last few weeks. I should not have let it be this close. That's definitely not a good scenario. I got to come back and pick this up again.
You were up by 4 heading into 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I tried. I wanted to play Hero Ball too much. I picked too many upsets. I think I picked who did I pick last week? That was crazy. Did I pick like
Let's see. You picked the Vikings.
Yeah, I picked the Vikings.
Hey,
did I really?
Yeah, you picked the Vikings against the Bucks. You picked the Bengals against the Cowboys. I tried to talk you out of that one, but
that's true.
You wouldn't
that
do
is
it.
true. That was the one. But I did pick Texans, Chicago, though, didn't I?
Yes, I picked the Texans, and that.
I was say, yeah, that was a good pick. That should count for 2 points.
Yeah, that was just a grudge pick. You know, I just wanted to pick against the Bears to take it in truth.
You know what? Here's the thing, right? Mitchell Trubisky outplaying Deshaun Watson. He's got a better winning record in his entire career than Deshaun Watson in the NFL. Does Mitch Trubisky?
Does he really?
That he does.
But Deshaun's played many more games than Trubisky.
Like 2 more?
No.
Has he? Even that? I don't know. Like playoff games. But they've both been hurt.
They were drafted the same season. And
they were drafted the same year.
Deshaun started in his rookie season. So like at least half the season more there. And Trubisky's been benched when Deshaun hasn't. So
But he's been hurt.
I bet Deshaun has 15 more games than Trubisky.
I don't think it's that many, but we can look it up later. I know that statistically, Trubisky is absolutely justified in having been selected before Deshaun Watson at this point, which is an interesting tidbit I saw this week.
Yeah, but also he hasn't had to dealt with the coaching situation. I mean, Matt Nagy.
Wait! You're the first one who always jumps on Matt Nagy.
Yeah, and I still don't believe in Matt Nagy, but I would take him over Bill O'Brien any day.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, but I mean, he also didn't have DeAndre Hopkins or JJ Watt and other receivers. Like the Texans receivers have consistently been better than the Bears.
Well, and when the Texans had those guys, they were going through the playoffs, and now he has absolutely no one to throw to. I thought Kiki QT was going to come through and do something, you know, but obviously not. He has nothing.
Well, they're not going to the playoffs this year. Chicago is, maybe.
You think?
Well, we'll see. Gonna come down to it this week. Let's hop into it, I guess.
They get
we'll
the
see.
7th seed. Yeah.
Starting off, in the AFC West, though, Chargers at the Raiders.
Oh, man. You know, to protect my pick and my bet that I made with you, I kind of want the Raiders to win. But judging from the last couple of weeks, I mean, well, I guess I can't say the last couple of weeks because the Chargers got beat up by the Patriots. But they also came back and got a win in over the tanking Falcons. And actually have an identical record at this point to the Falcons. Raiders, man, I really don't know. They're going to end up 8-8. So congratulations to you for calling that. Yep. They're definitely going to end up 8-8. I think
Don't even congratulate me. It was way too obvious to earn any praise for that from the start.
True. All right, well, not to protect my pick. I want to win this. I'm going to take the Chargers because I do think they probably pull it out here.
I really hoped you were going to pick the Raiders here and I could make a point on you. I agree with you. I'd also take the Chargers. I was trying to get you to kind of to stick with, because you have all the stakes to pick the Raiders. You have bet against the Chargers winning more than four games. And you've consistently said that the Raiders are better than they are, so I hoped you're going to pick them. You did not. Okay, that's fair. I will also pick the Chargers. Yeah, they are on the upswing. Raiders are frauds. As is. Now, record-wise, they should be winning, but it's a divisional game. A lot of things can happen, and Justin Herbert is just a better quarterback, so I have the Chargers to take the win. Bills at Broncos.
Oh, man. Everybody was saying how Josh Allen will, be exposed here because the Steelers' defense is the best in the league, arguably, to some people. And Josh Allen said, that's not this year. Josh Allen and the Bills are going to run over the Broncos. There's no doubt about this. He may not win MVP because of the season that Aaron Rodgers is having. But if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers, this is the MVP right here. But be it what it is, maybe Aaron Rodgers will get knocked out of the playoffs and that will affect it somehow. But Bills on the road, they're going to destroy the Broncos.
Agree with the result, first and foremost. They're going to win. I also agree with your assessment on Josh Allen, actually. I think he's a second at this point. He's a close second in the MVP race, with Mahomes having kind of a down week, at least for given what he usually does. He still beat Miami and Tua close, but he threw 3 picks doing it. So kind of a down week given his accolades. And Aaron Rodgers has just been he's been unmatched this year. I think he's the runaway MVP at this point. And I don't really see anyone catching up to him unless there's major issues coming up, which we'll get there right away, basically, because we have the Panthers at the Packers.
Yeah, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, he and Davante Adams have something special going. I'd have to look back, man. It's a good 6-7 games in a row that he has thrown a touchdown to Davante Adams in all of those. Plus, he has turned Robert Tonyan into one of the top tight ends, which I know tight end is, for receiving purposes, a dumpster fire this year, outside of Travis Kelce. And maybe Darren Waller, he's a distant second. But Robert Tonyan is now in the conversation as being a top tight end. He may overtake Mark Andrews at this point because of the season that Aaron Rodgers is having. The Panthers are horrible. They shouldn't have any chance in this game, so got to go with the Packers.
Once again, fully agree. There's no reason to doubt them. You know who you don't bet against, right? You don't bet against Aaron Rodgers. I'm fully back on the train, by the way. You do not bet against Aaron Rodgers. And at this point, I'm going to have a tough time betting against him in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We'll see who they're going to be facing. I didn't last year until the NFC Championship game, and that's only because they had played San Francisco before that season, and we knew what was going to happen. But this year, they are looking better somehow than they did last year, and they're not going to have the Niners to deal with. So, agree with the Packers here. They're going to win. Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP more than likely. Robert Tonyan's looking good. Now, a lot of tight ends are... It's been a down season for tight ends in general, except for the bunch you've mentioned. Mark Andrews, of course, he's been out. George Kittle out. Mm-hmm. So, a couple big names off the list there as well. But yeah, Tonyan has definitely emerged there. Which a second receiving threat is very, very dangerous for Aaron Rodgers there, aside from Davante Adams. Niners at Cowboys.
Man, I'm curious to hear your take on this one. I'll tell you this, the Cowboys were even better than I thought they were going to be last week. And the Niners were, even worse than I thought they were going to be, because I picked the Cowboys and you picked the Niners last week, and that didn't work out for you. Sorry about that. But this is tough, though. I think these teams are actually evenly matched, even in the situations that they are in. They're pretty even on quarterback right now. The running back, be it what it may, the committee versus the workhorse there. But, receiving options, it's about the same. I mean, 49ers still has a better defense, but they're on the road. I would say Vegas probably has this game as a pick 'em, I would think. And tie goes to the home team. I'm going to take the Cowboys.
I'm going to take the Niners, and they also are actually favored. Not by a lot,
Really?
though. By 3. It's a -3. It's 49ers -3, which is that is not a lot. But given how those last 2 games look, it makes a lot of sense. Here's what they're not even remotely close to being matched in, though. That's coaching, and that typically is what shines and what comes out in those struggle matchups, as this one is. So I'm going to take the 49ers. CJ Beathard is probably going to start at quarterback. There is, at this point, because the playoffs are so out of reach, there's no reason to force Jimmy Garoppolo back with the ankle that's been agitated twice this year. There's no point in doing it. So you probably start Beathard there, which I'm kind of in favor of at this point anyway. I want to see what's happening. Going to be more of a showcasing, see who's on the team next year, because this is the entire practice squad. Like, this is all the guys that are playing now that are going to be on the roster bubble next year. So you're going to get some prime looks on that, which is at least something. So still should beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys are horrible. And moving on to the Seattle Seahawks at the Washingtonians.
Oh, man. It still looks like Washington's going to win this division. I don't guess there's anything that's going to change that at this point, unless the Eagles and Jalen Hurts win out somehow. But
the Giants could win it.
They look
The Cowboys could mathematically win it. Anyone could win it.
Mathematically, yes. But the way these teams are playing, I would say I don't know, man. I kind of got the Cowboys, and I got the Giants last because Daniel Jones is not healthy. I don't think he's going to come back and wow the world. I think he was on a trajectory to do it, but I think his injuries have just caught up with him this season. You know, that offensive line be as bad as it is. But anyway, I right now I'm still sticking with the Washington football team to win this division. They're not going to win this game, though. Seahawks are still a better overall team by a long shot, you know. And, Russ, they haven't looked as good. Yes, I understand that. Yes, they had some bad games. They lost to the Giants that, you know, we were just discussing. But they kind of made amends last week. But it was the Jets, you know, 40-3. That's a giant win, though. And if you're a good team, that's what you're supposed to do to teams like the Jets. I think the Seahawks may be getting back on track, you know, so I'm going to take them to win on the road here.
I want you for a second to appreciate how much it takes for me to make the pick that I'm making, and I'm picking Seattle, obviously, but wow. I want you to appreciate how much that takes out of me to make this, because I do not want to make this pick. You know, I don't want to. You don't want to pick Alex Smith, keeping up the redemption story. Presuming he is going to play, we'll see about that. He got banged up a little bit, but hopefully he is for this team's chances, because they have been a top 10 offense in the NFL ever since he played, which is in itself a phenomenal story considering where they came from before that. And you know what? If Alex Smith plays, I think they have reasonable chances against Seattle. I think they can do. Alex Smith played for 1/2. It was enough to beat the 49ers. Yeah. And he's beaten good teams. So there's definitely chances there. If they're a top 10 offense, Seattle is the worst defense in the league. Could be a shootout. Gonna pick the Seahawks are gonna pick Russell Wilson because they still have a division to fight for and a playoff spot to fight for. They are not going anywhere right now. They're not through yet. So they need to win this must-win game for Seattle. Bears at Vikings.
I'll tell you this. I looked at this matchup for a long time and pondered what this matchup could bring here. The Vikings, you know, like I've been telling you, they're not as good as everyone thought they were. And, I mean, they proved it last week. But the Bears came out and dominated against the Texans. Just whooped them, and Trubisky looked great. And that hurts because I don't like the Bears. I'm going to... This is kind of a toss-up for me. I'm sure Vegas has the Bears winning this one on the road because of how good they looked last week compared to the Vikings. But I'm going to take the Vikings at home.
For a very odd reason, I'm going to agree with you, actually. I thought I was going to pick Chicago for the longest time, but But here's what I'm gonna agree with you. So this Vikings offense, compared to last season, they lost Stephon Diggs, and they have not lost a step. I mean, they are as good as they were last year. The part of the team that's been letting them down has kind of had them falling off a little bit. That's the defensive part, which is, by the way, which is Zimmer's specialty and has been for a long time. They've been playing a phenomenal defense for many years, top 5 defenses, and that's what's carried him to the playoffs. Justin Jefferson has came in. He has replaced Stephon Diggs 1-to-1. And I could make an argument that Stephon Diggs is the best receiver in the league this year. But the Vikings have not lost a step in that department. So, to me, the consistency is what necessitates this pick. With Chicago, you never know. We get Mitch Trubisky. Yeah, he could win. They have a good defense. But Minnesota has a great offense. And I don't believe that Chicago's offense is able to exploit that defensive weakness for Minnesota as much as vice versa will be the case. So, to me, it's going to come down to who's going to score the last touchdown, and to me, it's going to be Minnesota because they have more of the clutch playmakers. So, I'm going to actually take the Vikings. Curious to hear your call on this one, though. Patriots at Dolphins.
Oh, yeah. But I will. Before we move on, I will say that I agree. Stephon Diggs is right up there in the conversation with Devontae Adams this season.
For sure.
Patriots and Dolphins. Patriots looked horrible. Dolphins. Yeah, you can say that other teams have given the Chiefs a run like that. I mean, it looked very similar to the Raiders against the Chiefs last week, and I mean, the Chiefs don't look as invincible as they did at one point in time. The Dolphins still have a great defense, and Mecole Hardman won the game for the Chiefs there. But the Dolphins could have won that, if it wasn't for, a play or two going in the wrong direction. Tua is looking better in every single game. He's getting connections. Mike Gesicki is probably going to be out for this, and that seems to be his favorite target, over the middle of the field. Just that big, probably one of the most, or the most athletic tight end in the league. Maybe you could argue George Kittle or someone like that, but he's not going to be there, and that's going to make it rougher. He still has options downfield, though, and the running game is not anything to speak of at this point. Myles Gaskins is still going to be out for this game. So that does make it really tough. But the Patriots really suck right now. So I'm going to give it to the Dolphins defense to win this game.
It feels like...
Yeah, and I know that the Patriots, Bill Belichick is good at shutting down rookie quarterbacks. So that's also possible in this game, but I'm still going to go with the Dolphins for right now.
It feels like this is the first time in my life that I've heard someone say this, and it's also the first time in my life that I'm saying it. I'm going to pick Dolphins to beat the Patriots. Unironically, no games, no tricks. I'm going to say they're going to win the game. Yes, Tua is phenomenal, and you mentioned Mike Gesicki. That's true. Certainly, tight ends have a reputation of being kind of the security blanket for rookie quarterbacks, and they're an important part of the offense. But Tua has shown the vision and the athleticism that's not rookie-esque at all. That's very veteran-like, that allows him to open up those holes in the zones and exploit those coverages by himself, and he doesn't necessarily need a tight end. He has decent receivers on the outside. He has the help around him that he does need, and the Dolphins have a good defense. They've been very strong all year. Patriots have been suspect on offense all year. It's kind of hit and miss. So to me, can't pick him. Yes, Belichick's great, but Belichick, if you give Belichick a college team, he couldn't win the NFL. That's just simply the truth. So they're gonna need to do something about that defense to get some people back for next year. It's a time for the Miami Dolphins. The AFC East is sending 2 teams to the playoffs, none of which will be the Patriots, and everyone is going to love it. I'm going to be rooting for both of them, by the way. Jaguars at the Ravens.
That was a great game. The Ravens and Bills was a great game, and those teams were 2 evenly matched run-first teams, and that was old school football right there. Not an old school score necessarily, you would think with 2 teams like that we should see a 17-12 game, or something like that. But great game. These teams can pass these days also. Ravens should have no problems beating up the Jags. I don't think the Jags want to win. Gardner Minshew might come out and play a little bit, put up some touchdowns, but it's the Ravens. They shouldn't have a problem beating up the Jags here.
I fully agree with that, though. Be wary of Gardner Minshew. I mean, if you are a gambler, you might want to put some money on Jacksonville here. It's definitely one of the value bets you can make. You have 7-1 odds if you pick them to straight wins, so that is definitely something to consider. We are just picking winners, though, at 1-1 odds, so I will take the Ravens. They're a better team. They've looked great. They have looked like they are getting it together, and they have realized they need to be this good to compete in this division. Jaguars... With Minshew, you never know. He can go from MVP to complete bust in within a week, but the team just overall does not have the same class. So I will take the Ravens. Bucks at Falcons.
Yeah, I picked the Bucks last week, and I believed they were going to win, and they did. It sucks because I want the Bucks to finish at 8-8, and right now they're sitting at 8-5. But the Falcons, they're in tank mode. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, though, if they just come out and ball all over the Bucks for no good reason, other than let's just do it. I don't know, man. I can't predict the Falcons anymore. Like, my homerism takes over it sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, they're going to do it. And that's when they don't do it. And then when I give up on them, they beat somebody 40-3. I don't know. I'm going to pick the Bucks because by all accounts and all intelligence, they should win here, but who knows.
This is once again a situation where I would like to pick Atlanta, as you do as well, just the same as you said, because it would be the hero pick. But given the fact that they very much do seem to not be really interested in winning anymore, they seem to be tanking for a high draft pick. I don't, and the Bucks are very much in the playoff race. I just don't see it happening realistically. A lot of things can go on in a divisional game, but I will have to agree with you. I'll have to take the Buccaneers. Lions at Titans.
Ryan Tenney. Oh man, I told you. I told everyone. You can't tackle Derrick Henry when it gets cold outside. He's having 200-yard games again. This is one of the most phenomenal running back situations I've ever seen from the time I've been studying the NFL, man. That this guy, once it gets cold outside, he goes from an 80-yard running back to a 200-yard running back. And he's done it. This will be the third season in a row, and maybe the fourth. He kind of did that, even when DeMarco Murray was still there. I gotta, the Lions, they're probably going to be without Matt Stafford. And if he is he's banged up really bad. The Lions are beat up. They gave it their best effort they had last week, and all props to them for the fight they did put up, but they're just beat up, and I'm going to take the Titans at home.
I will have to agree with that, absolutely. Lions, it's once again another kind of lost season they kind of threw away. Still work to do, and we've said this for 10 years, but it's definitely the case. Titans, they're a good team, and they're going to run the ball, and that's going to be trouble for Detroit. So not a very tough pick to make there for me. I totally agree, and I will take Tennessee. The Texans at the Colts.
Yeah, Colts are still leading the division, and they have a fight from the Titans coming. Who knows how that's going to turn out, but got to go with the Colts for right now. The Texans are tanking, and I don't know. There's just like a lot of these games, there's no reason they should win this game. And
see,
I'll take the Colts.
If what you said came true, and the Texans, Deshaun Watson, they ran over Chicago and beat them up, and there might be a little bit more optimism going into this game against in the Colts team that seemingly has gotten better and better every week and has gotten more consistent, and the class finally is coming out, and I'm excited to see them in the playoffs. This might be a bit tougher of a pick, but it really doesn't seem like the Texans are in a competitive mode right now, does it? So I will have to agree once again and take Indianapolis. I think this division is, for the most part, settled in terms of Houston is done. Jacksonville is done. Colts Titans will be definitely a big fight, but for this year, Houston's just they're on the outside looking in, and it's going to be some big change happening in the offseason, I suspect too. Eagles at the Cardinals.
Man, this is going to be interesting. Think about this. Jalen took over for Kyler at Oklahoma. So now he gets to come back, and I don't know that you could call it a revenge game. I don't even know what you would call that relationship, but this will be interesting. He gave life to the Eagles, and he gave life to Miles Sanders. I don't know if Doug Peterson had just had enough of Carson Wentz, and he figured, okay, now we can turn it on. I mean, the O-line is still bad, but Jalen Hurts is a really fast quarterback. You know, I think he played running back in high school. I mean, he's that kind of quarterback. So he gives life to the Eagles, and he can get out of harm's way quickly. Makes it tough though. You know, the Cards are coming off a good win, but I think I'm going to make the bold pick here and take the Eagles on the road to get another win.
Wow. Okay, that is an impressive one. It's definitely the tempting pick. I totally am with that. You said something really wise last week that kind of became more and more wise as the week went on and the Eagles play, which is that a team that can't protect its passing quarterback and has a terrible offensive line, the only thing that's going to help them out a little bit is a quarterback that by nature just runs out of the pocket anyway, that scrambles around, that creates their own space, and that is faster than most defensive linemen and linebackers and pass rushers out there. And that perfectly came true as the Eagles. And here's kind of the interesting or kind of weird thing about this whole situation. Yeah, Jalen Hurts right now, it fits the Eagles better as their quarterback.
He does.
And that is terrible news for the Eagles. That means that something is terribly wrong if that's the case. He's right now the better fit for this system. Mm-hmm. And that says a lot of bad things about the system. And I don't know really what to think about this game because I feel very similarly about Kyler Murray, or have felt very similarly about Kyler Murray than I did about Jalen Hurts. Now, undoubtedly, he's been a more talented quarterback, but to me, this is the and I know I'll draw a lot of hate for that. Obviously, this is kind of the overrated hip new quarterback type kind of bowl sort of thing, if you will. And I would be strongly surprised if both of these guys still were in the NFL in 5 years. I will say that as well, at least at the level that they are right now, because that's typically not the kind of quarterback that succeeds long term. In this one, I will take Arizona. I think there's a full game on tape of Jalen Hurts now playing. It's pretty clear what they want to do at this point. And I think that Cardinals defense should be able to stop this a little bit better as well. I think they're matched up against a little bit better. They have very agile linebackers, something that they have been specifically drafting for. You have the big nickel concept that they like to run a lot, so you typically have 5 defensive backs on the field a lot of the time, even with 7 people in the box, which is going to help against the run by itself. And you have those coverage side-to-side linebackers. They drafted Isaiah Simmons, who's going to help with that a lot. So I think they're matched up a lot better against the offense Philadelphia's going to run with Jalen Hurts, and therefore I will take the Cardinals to win it. But it's going to be an interesting one to watch, and I'll certainly be on that. Jets at the Rams.
Wow, this should be interesting. You know, these guys are kind of evenly matched here. you mean
the quarterbacks? Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, but nothing else.
Yeah, I don't even know about that anymore. I would have said that in the past, definitely, but I don't know. I mean, and I'm not a big Jared Goff fan by any means.
There's no way to find out until Sam Darnold starts for literally anyone else.
Yeah. Well, this is 0-13 versus 9-4. This is the Rams, man. I don't even know what I could pontificate on with this. There's no reason for the Jets to win, even if they wanted to. So I'm going with the Rams.
Yeah, absolutely going with the Rams. That's one of the most obvious tanks we have ever seen. They still haven't fired Adam Gase, and it's pretty clear that after like 8 or 9 games, if they hadn't fired him, it was pretty clear that the point is to lose. That's what's currently going on, and Yeah, I just want Darnold to get out of there. I really just want Sam Darnold to get out of there, go literally anywhere else next year. That's the only person, aside from Frank Gore, that I care about at this point on the Jets, to be honest. I really want him to turn his career around. Frank Gore's career is already made pretty much. He's good, but Darnold needs to go somewhere else. So, yeah, Rams win. No question, no doubt. Moving on to a much more exciting one, the Chiefs at the Saints.
Yes. I would have much more faith in the Saints in this game if Drew Brees was back. Because, I mean, it's obvious that Taysom is no superstar quarterback. You know, Peyton loves him for some reason. Sean Payton's in love with Taysom, and I really don't see it at this point. Yeah, he's a great gadget guy, but he's not a real quarterback. Like, this is... it's not only Tim Tebow. I don't think he's as good as Tim Tebow. Maybe he's better at playing tight end than Tim Tebow. Maybe he's better at playing running back than Tim Tebow. He's not. Is. I don't think he's a better quarterback, a genuine passing quarterback than Tim Tebow. But, you know, Sean Payton's going to throw him out there until Drew Brees comes back, because apparently he hates Jameis Winston. I don't know why he signed him in the first place. Of course, the Chiefs have struggled lately in their wins, you know, but they have struggled to get those wins. So this should be a decently close game, but in the end, the Chiefs should win this.
I would agree with you, and what tips the scales to me is very similar to what you said. The absence of Drew Brees, and yeah, the Saints are good enough so that Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, they can beat mediocre teams, right? They can beat up on injured teams, on bad teams, and they can win games, but this is the Kansas City Chiefs that we're talking about, and it does take a quarterback the caliber of Drew Brees to match up, or Tua, obviously, to match up with Patrick Mahomes in this game and go toe-to-toe. It's not happening here. I think the Chiefs are going to win. This has a potential to get out of control pretty fast. If Kansas City gets out scoring quickly, Mahomes gets back to that old form, this could potentially be ugly, and this could be a big expose, so to speak, big exposing of Taysom Hill and that Saints team. But we'll see what happens. I definitely picked the Chiefs. I think this is an easy pick to make as well. We have the Browns at the Giants.
Man, I picked the Browns thinking that was a possibility, and I thought maybe the Browns could have pulled it out against the Ravens, but obviously not. I mean, teams were evenly matched, like I said. But the Giants are not evenly matched with the post-hype sleepers here. And the way it looks, they may not have Danny Dimes playing quarterback for this game, which is going to make it even worse. But even if he is, like I've said, he's beat up. And I got to take the Browns on the road here. I think they're going to run it down their throats. I mean, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is probably the best combination of running backs in the entire league. Like, I would take that duo over any other set of running backs in the league.
Wow. I'm right now I'm thinking about other running back duos. Mm-hmm. How about Le'Veon Bell and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in Kansas City?
Nah, I would definitely take Chubb and Hunt over that. I mean, yeah, Le'Veon Bell should be great, but he's not at this point, you know.
Mostert and Jet McKinnon, if they're healthy.
I see that I knew you were going to say that, but maybe I don't know. I think I would have thought that Tevin Coleman was even better than McKinnon, but
maybe
I guess we got Fournette and Ronald Jones.
And Ronald Jones. Yeah, but, that's another one.
Yeah, I'm still taking Chubb and
Hunt. The fact that I can't instantly negate it, your point definitely stands. I will take the Browns here, and for the simple reason that I of course I want the Giants to win. I want to pick the Giants. I always love to pick the Giants. I just want to point out this interesting fact. I tweeted this at you as well. When last week every team released their nomination for Walter Payton Man of the Year, and the Browns had Myles Garrett on the list, which was extremely humorous to me. I found that very, very funny in an ironic way. So he's the Browns candidate for Walter Payton Man of the Year. That's a fun storyline there. Browns are going to win the football game, though. Be it with or without Myles Garrett, he's playing, obviously. But what we don't know is that Daniel Jones is playing. And just being uncertain that he's playing is more than enough to never pick the Giants here. Because if he's not, there should just be no chance for them to make a move. Browns are just they're a better team, and they're going to win. And then finally, we have the Steelers at the Bengals.
There's something wrong in Pittsburgh, man. This doesn't look good. This is not the
They're
team.
11-2.
They are, but they haven't gotten 20 points in the last 3 games. I don't even know that they've passed 45 in the last 3 games combined. It doesn't look good. I mean, by all means, they should win this right here against the Bengals. There's no reason for the Bengals to even be in this match, but that offense is not looking good. You got receivers dropping passes all over the field. There is no running game. I don't know if it's COVID or what, but Connor and Snell are doing absolutely nothing. And this is a team who has historically been known for being able to get production out of their running backs. It's a weird situation. I've never seen this from the Steelers, and all the time I've been studying the NFL, I've never known the Steelers to not have extremely successful running backs. But right now, they have nothing at running back. No explosiveness. No, they're not getting yards out of these guys. I don't get it. They should win this game. Shouldn't be a problem, but something's wrong with that offense.
I will go. I'm going to say this. So I will come back here next week and with genuine concern about the Steelers if they actually lose this one. I don't believe that there's something genuinely wrong just yet. They can't have a perfect season. It's tough. It's tough to win every game. Of course, they lost 2 in a row, but 2 reasonable opponents. Washington is not terrible, remember? So I think they're not in that much trouble. I think they'll find themselves come playoff time. And this is going to be a get-right game. It's a bounce-back game. They're going to run over the Cincinnati Bengals without Ryan Finley, most likely again, which, I don't know what to say about that anymore. But they're going to win the game. This should be an easy one. If not, then we have a right to be concerned. We'll see this week. But right now, I refuse to be concerned just yet. And that finishes up the picks here. How about fantasy football? How's that looking? What do you got for us?
Oh man, it's great. This is playoff times, man. This week,
this week's topic of the hurry up offense will be: don't forget to set your lineups when you face your co-host in fantasy football.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I had a lot of leagues, and Sunday mornings, every now and then, I'm like, I've already done that league. Yeah. And then I realized, nope, didn't do it. And now you can wonder for the rest of the season if I just wanted you to win the league or not.
I'm not wondering about that at all. I know you forgot to set your lineup.
Two times in a row now. Only against you. You can ponder that.
What do you mean? I'm not pondering anything. I'm winning this league, and it's nothing to do with you at all.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, next time I'll just beat you outright. All right, that's fine. I get it. I see how it is. Can't even look. You got to look the gift horse in the mouth, obviously. This week we're talking about 2 different topics, actually, and they both tie into one, my favorite subject, Mr. Miles Sanders. And we're going to be talking about the end of regression, because regression happens especially to second-year running backs. And we're also going to be talking about how running backs are affected by running quarterbacks.
That's very topical. Mm-hmm. I can see why Miles Sanders would be heavily featured in that episode. I am very much looking forward to learning more about this player. I will be watching that. So stay tuned. If you're a fantasy football player, maybe you're still in the playoff hunt. Super, super crucial now that you check out the Hurry Up Offense coming up later on this channel on what to do this week. It's very, very important. I'm going to do it as well because I got a league to win. Mm-hmm. Which you would know about. But we'll see what happens there.
I'll have you know that I'm in the playoffs in every other league except that one. That was the playoffs, though. Good. So actually, I made the playoffs in all my leagues.
I guess it was playoffs already. Yeah. Right. So you did make the playoffs. That's pretty good. Let's see. Let's see if you win one. But as for betting this week, we have two picks that we're going to make. We have $5 on each, as always, making the easiest $10 of our week. This is going to surprise you a little bit. First one, we have the New York Jets plus, guess what? Guess the number.
The Jets, I'm gonna say plus 14.
They are plus 17 at the Rams, which is an astronomical spread, and it's just, this is just too easy to kind of put $5 on them covering a 17-point spread. No, the Rams are going to win this game 95 out of 100 times. But by 17 or more points, probably not that many times, because that's very much an outlier. So we put $5 on the Jets, holding them to less than 17 points of difference, which is a sad spot to be in, but we're gonna take it anyway. And then second time for a long time, we have only bet on actual game results. This time we have a score bet, and we have the over on the Chiefs versus Saints game. Over under is set at 51 points. Source from my bookie again. I'm gonna take that for a shootout. We have the Saints and the Chiefs. Both of them can have kind of shaky defenses. Both of them can have very explosive offenses. I believe this is going to be a 60-plus point game, and we're going to bet $5 on the over there. So that is our two bets for this week. 100% guaranteed. Put them in the bank. Easiest $10 of your week, and we're going to put those in and hopefully win both of those. But do you have anything to add for week 15 for now?
No, I think I said it all this week.
All right, great. And I want to thank everybody for watching. Drop us a like and subscribe to Beyond Football. Remember to stick around for the Hurry Up Offense, and we are going to see you in the next one.
Deuces.